Good morning. How you doing, Pumpkin?
Excuse you, Turbo. Hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm great. Did you even touch you barely touched your food. Cats. All right, see you later, Pumpkin. It is a beautiful morning. Well, it was sunny, like, I swear, 45 seconds ago. There's some blue in the sky. It's nice enough out. I was just getting ready to walk around the garden, have a look at things. It was a busy weekend. I didn't get to do much out here. Well, I did plenty out here this weekend, but I didn't really get to sit back and just look at things. And I thought, oh, let's go on a little garden stroll. Water, by the way, it's water. That's all it is. It'll murder your thirst. Stupid. Yeah, and sometimes going on these little garden walks, I've noticed many years ago, actually, I noticed that when I do the garden tours, I see all kinds of things that I don't really pay attention to without the camera. Things just skip right by, like this, you know, stuff to pick up. So it helps me out some too. Oh, hi, you're looking pretty. I keep putting these dang things away and people keep getting them out. I bought the special hooks to keep it over on the fence. It just won't happen. Nobody puts them away. I put them away. I've been very good about it. Still yellow, huh? Not happy about that. There is a huge sign. There's a huge row of these at the nursery, and it said pink. It said pink. That is not pink. It's very much not pink. It's my least favorite yellow. At least it's a soft yellow, but the yellow, it's just blech. I don't know. That's fine. Oh, look at you. Someone's got some drama this morning. Okay. Sprayed some dead brew out here yesterday. See, that's done its thing. I'm gonna have to hit this grass probably multiple times. I don't understand what's happening. Just like a lawn popped up in the middle of the garden. I had to be so careful because it wasn't dead brew. It was weed brew. I have the kale lily right there and some other things in here. You don't want to hit those, right? So I was just very careful. I don't care if I miss some things and some clovers pop up around things. On the note of this kale lily, very pretty, right? Look at that. I like the narrow, pointy leaves on it. And yes, I know the name says Red Charm on it, but in the picture on Plant Delights, it looked very pink. So that's why I gave it a try. Turns out they're pictures. Oh, well, you know what? On my camera, that even looks like it has a hint of pink. It does not. It is very red. Like scarlet red. It looks different in person. It's still pretty. I know that seems like a random spot. I was hoping to maybe come in here and just like dot kale lilies all through here. Haven't gotten around to it yet. Planted up some hydrangeas yesterday. Planted up a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. These are the Incredible Stormproof. Look at the size of these flowers. And these are still, you know, pretty small plants too. From the nursery container. Nice big buds on them. The Incredible Stormproof is nice because it's supposed to have really sturdy stems and not flop over. Okay. Well, it was in a nursery can, so I'm not going to judge it on that just yet. These only go about 4 feet by about 3 to 4 feet wide, right? Am I remembering that right? Oh, 3.5. 3.5 to 4. Nice sturdy shrub. Bloom on. New growth. Oh, they're so pretty. I love these. Very nice looking shrubs. So that's going to be pretty big for this spot. Why don't I put 2 in here? I had a third. I decided, it was like, yeah. I was thinking actually 3.5 to 4. So I was off on that. But I think that those should come up together right around here. And eventually I'll have to scoot the impatiens down or maybe just stop with them altogether. I mean, I doubt that. I'll always be able to poke some impatiens in around the garden. Look at this. Look at it. Look at it. You see it? Oh, isn't it gross? But so cool at the same time. That's a stink pot. Is it stink pot? It stinks something. I don't know. They only show up for a couple weeks out of the year. So it's pretty easy to forget the name. Let me get on in there. It's a type of fungus. I know that might seem gross to smell, but I just get fascinated by it. So gross, but so freaking cool. Nature. It's awesome. I also had to do some rearranging over here. I had planted this clumping bamboo over there. It needed to be right there. I know it's only about like 2 feet, but it did matter. So I scooted that back. I have this Nindina right there, which probably should have put more over here, but it's fine. My main thing was I'm just trying to get some height and some texture because this area is going to need to be filled in. Popped a banana in here. Just I noticed yesterday this spot was getting a lot of sun, which is new. That's very new. It's because this guy up here, this maple, had to have a very, very, very heavy prune on it, and that's just letting all kinds of light right here. It's temporary, but you know, you'll be able to enjoy that for several years. So I thought, well, hey, let's pop a banana in here. It's an Ever Red, which is a Sycamensis. Cold hardy to zone 6. Did I say cold hard? Cold hardy to zone 6. We'll need some mulch and everything in the winter, but I would imagine it'll do okay right there. Don't really know. It's an experiment. Popped in a... There we go. There we go. Florida Sunshine Elysium back here. I had 3 of these, and I wanted to poke them around to different spots in the garden because I get different information all over the place from everybody about their light tolerance. You know, Plant Delight says basically that they can take some sun, and then other places say to give them shade, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do with this information, so I spread them around. And what a great color for this is part shade. For some part shade, I love the red stems with that really nice chartreusey green foliage. I popped another one over here where it's getting a lot more light. I think they'll be able to take the light. It's probably going to matter more about when the heat kicks in, see how they do with that, but given their native range, I mean, this is not a native, but it's a variation off of the native, I think it'll be okay, right? Because it's late afternoon, it won't be getting light, should be okay. Other one's all the way down there. Spread them out from the other side of the yard. I got these planted up. The plants just looked awful. I didn't film it. I usually film it every year, but the storms had knocked these planters over, and the annuals I put in here just looked terrible because they had been blown over the patio from the storm. So I said, oh, forget it. Just go ahead and pot them up in here. I did 2 of the Tiara Pink Super Petunias on each side. I would like to put some sweet potato vines in here too, but I want to use the Sweet Caroline Sweetheart Lime. I can't frickin' find them. I don't know why the nurseries don't have them. I don't know why. I can never find them. I usually just go with the Marguerites, but the Sweetheart Lime is my favorite because it doesn't seem much smaller. It's a little bit smaller, and I just love that cute heart-shaped leaf that it has on it. Right there. Compact Coral, I think. Sun Impatient, Compact Magenta, and then the Pekastekis luteas right here. And this one, I went ahead and did a little bit more with this one because this planter gets a lot more sun. Be very careful here because Flower's up here. Flower's got babies. She's very chill. Like the chillest dove I've ever been around in my life. But I don't want to scare her off of her nest. So same thing for the most part, Pekastekis. The same Sun Patience, Tiara Blues. I had some Angelonias. I just tossed them in here. This spot gets a good amount of sun, so let's just see what they do. And what I wanted to do in both containers was also add in these begonias right here. They're Iconia's apricot, I believe. Apricot Iconia begonias. Gorgeous flower. I figure when these pinks on each side here, when these all get bigger, having that touch of orange and yellow in between them is going to look really pretty. But the other ones that I had to go in that container were just they're totaled. They got completely smashed when the Eureka Palm got blown over on top of it when that tornado blasted through. Here, I don't know when this video will be out, but yeah, that's what happened with that one. I need to come in here and do some thinning on the daffodils. I want to wait a couple more weeks. They're still nice and green, so I should probably wait. And I also need to come in and maybe do some weeding. I have been doing this thing this year where I was great about the weeding earlier in the spring. And then I started seeing lots of seedlings pop up in the areas where I put the impatiens. So I thought, well, hey, just wait, because some of those might be impatiens. And I do think that some of them are impatiens, like that right there. Those are probably impatiens, but they're surrounded by maple trees. So you can't keep them both, right? I don't want maple trees to grow up in the front of this row. So I may just have to go through and pull it all out, or just let the maples go ahead and get a smidge taller so that they're easier to grab hold of and just gently pluck them. It's really easy to pluck stuff out of this area. The soil is very gravelly. Hi, how you doing, bud? You didn't bring a toy or anything? You just came over to say hi? Well, that's nice of you. I can't believe you left your fish just for me. Such an honor. Such a grand inflorescence, isn't it? That thing is huge. I don't know how to describe it because Well, you're not here, but I'm down here. It's all the way up there. It just looks so cool. It's probably, I don't know, 7, 8 feet. Well, no. My arm reaches the ceiling in the house almost. Let's say 7.5, 8 foot. It's way up there. It's way up there. Gosh, these gnats. Do you guys get the buffalo gnats? Midge flies? They're only here for a few weeks out of the year, but they are just awful, relentless. My phone was covered in them. They're attracted to black. So, like, they go for your eyes, they go for your nostrils, they'll go for your mouth. They bite, and I don't know if everybody has this reaction, but I get these really painful, large, swollen lumps when they bite me, and they last for weeks. But one of them bit me yesterday, and I sprayed my spot down where it bit me on my face with hypochlorous acid, and I did that about 3 times. I let it dry and kept doing that. It's gone. Totally gone. So I thought that was amazing. So that's not usually how that works for me. Normally those things bite me and I just have lumps and swollen spots all over my face for weeks to come. Okay, I need to water the green stock. The lettuce is done. We had a few days where it was like 90 and they said, nope, we're done. I wish that orchids and a lot of other plants were like that. I mean, orchids are kind of like that, but things that you want to bloom where it just takes like 1 day of being in the temperature range and they go poof, and flush out with flowers. That'd be so nice with orchids and other things, right? But again, a lot of orchids are like that. They just need a longer period of their chill time. Still picking junk out of the plants that got knocked over. Yeah, here's the tray that had those begonias in them, so you can see. I mean, there's maybe some hope for the others. I'm gonna keep them, grow them out and see what they do, but I don't know, I don't have high hopes. I'll pseudoranthemum. And the other Florida sunshine is over here and looking kind of bad too. It's like something ran over it. Wonder what could have happened there. What would have run over the shrub turbo? Yeah, it's right in your path. That was a dumb spot for me to put that. I need to come in here and give this thing a heavy prune. I think I'm just gonna cut it all off. Not all of it, but all these long stringy pieces from when it was in the grow space. Get the flowers off of it, because those take a lot of energy out of the plant, because I need to get these guys planted up. So that's probably something I'll hold off on doing until I plant them up. But when I get them planted up, I'm gonna cut off most of the foliage. Not all of it, but a good big chunk of it. Hellies are looking good. I got really paranoid with my last batch over here because they were from the same grower. So this time I was like, just put them in a spot where they're going to get afternoon shade and don't touch them. I mean, touch them. Give them a little bit of water, but not soaking them. That's another thing that I don't talk about that often, is that our groundwater, it's better now, but a few weeks ago when I got these in the mail, tap water was still very cold, and that can be a problem too, right? So with plants that like things more on the warm side, that's another reason. Actually, hold on, to back it up, that's another reason sometimes I leave my hose laying out, because it warms the water up. During the summer, that has nothing to do with it. It's just me being lazy and not rolling the thing back up, because I'm always using it, so it just seems stupid to roll it back up. And I don't want a hose length. The water pressure would suck. Don't want a retractable hose. There's just no way it would work out here. Water pressure sucks out of this thing. No way it's going to be good out of a retractable hose. Not without a booster pump. No, look, to spend more money. Just putting that out there because people always say, get a retractable hose. Don't want one. It would suck back here. So I try and remember when this has been sitting out to water those sensitive plants first. Like I said, we've moved on from there. It's mid-May at this point. Groundwater is not as cold, but you know, leading up to that point, groundwater was pretty cold, and that could have contributed to the shock that these went through. I think they just got too much sun. The sun is horribly strong this time of year, and sometimes it just ticks things off. When you don't have the humidity, plants just fry in that intense sun. I almost said heat and sun. I almost said seat. That seat can really fry them. I did not deadhead this. I should have deadheaded it. Dumb. I pulled some of them off, but I didn't come through and get them all. I need to get some new snips too. I have all these roses out here, and I tend to be somebody who goes through and I just like to do the thing where you just pluck the flowers off, but it's not that easy with some of the roses. They don't all just pluck right off. This guy's looking good. Phyllostaches, Vivex. That is an impressive growth coming out of this thing, considering that it's just in a 5 or 7 gallon container. This was its growth from last year, right? So they only do that growth thing once a year. So this is what it put up last year. This is before I purchased the plant. It came to me with this one. And then here's this year. That's some pretty good progress. I'm encouraged by that. One of the reasons I got this bamboo is one, because it's supposed to be one that is pretty tolerant, so versatile. You know, some bamboos can be picky about their drainage, their water, their sun. This one's supposed to just overall be pretty sturdy. It's supposed to be faster to establish, and it's supposed to make a decent houseplant. So if I decided that I didn't want to put it in the ground, then I could bring it inside for the winter time. I think bamboo looks really pretty potted up in the house. And I mean, just the best part about it is this has very, very vivid yellow canes on it with that green stripe. And this is going to get even more yellow. It's a brand new, it's a baby cane. Give it some time for it to flush out. And it'll be more into this kind of intense, almost orange color. Very pretty. Seemingly a nicer look than the yellow growth bamboo I've been growing. I don't like it. It's what people tend to grow the most out here, and it just always ends up looking messy. It doesn't hold its leaves. It doesn't flush out with new leaves very well. I just think it's a gross looking bamboo. I'm over it. So giving that one a try, I've been happy with how it's looking. Looks like the violas and pansies are shooting. They're climbing way up here, and I think that's largely because these daffodils all came up and started to block out the light for them. Me setting this plant right here probably didn't help very much either. I think a lot of this stock withered back when we had those days where it was randomly in the 90s. That's an issue I have with stock. I don't know if that's something y'all struggle with, but it does fine for me in the spring while things are nice and mild. But then when we have the days, like, you know, probably mid-April into mid-May, where it can be 45 one day and then 90 the next and then 30 the day after that, the stock it's never happy with me when that happens. It always just goes, ugh. I don't think it likes those swings. But, you know, sometimes you get little pieces that pull through, or maybe you don't. I thought that was a piece of stock. It was just a dead flower from the fuchsia that's up there. One can be hopeful. I don't know about the daffodils in this container. It wasn't a bad idea, because I wanted it to just sort of look like there's a spring meadow planted underneath this palm right here, but it also has ended up looking very, very messy and caused all of the pansies and violas to bolt and jump up, which I'm okay with that too. But this did have a much more tidy appearance before these came up. It's also been warmer too, though, and that'll make the pansies and violas start to pop up real high too. It's so interesting to me. I mean, look at that. This is a pansy. But look at how different its growth habit is now that it's warm and it's having to compete for some light. It's not given those great big huge pansy flowers like you would normally see on a pansy. Instead, it's all little and petite because the plants had to stretch out and reach for the light. Interesting. Well, it's not really interesting, that's what plants do. But I don't see it with pansies that often. Violas, not unusual. So I'll do that. They'll, you know, pop up and then they kind of lay down and not really trail, but they kind of trail. They'll run around the place. But the pansies, I'm not used to that. Usually a pansy, for me, they just kind of stay short and chunky and sit in place. And I just realized by the time this video comes out, this is all going to be so completely irrelevant. It'll practically be garden tour time, so we'll have talked about all of this, and the palm trees will have been delivered. My big palms, they will have been shipped out here. So I will have rearranged everything, and none of this matters. Well, I hope you enjoyed a bunch of pointless rambling that's just, you know, probably 2 or 3 weeks in the past, and nothing's going to look the same out here at that point. That's okay. I think it can be fun sometimes to have a quick look back at things and see how much things can change in just a matter of weeks. You better stop it. I've gotten so paranoid about the wind since these tornadoes we've been having lately. I know that is not a tornado, but we're supposed to have them later today. So that's another reason I wanted to come out and just walk around and look at things and enjoy them. You know, it's probably going to be the last glimpse of spring color. That'll probably be all gone by the time this video's out. A lot of the spring stuff's going to be done. I'm going to leave the spring things in the planter with the windmill palm here. I don't see a reason to take it out. I don't normally plant this one up with summer annuals, so I may as well just leave it. I don't think that anything in here is going to thrive. The alyssum hopefully will do okay. Some of the alyssums gotten through the struggle bus as it started to get more shade, but the ones that are reaching out and getting more light, the sun kind of comes in through a block right here. They do okay. The daffs, I guess I'll leave them. I mean, why not? I take this thing in when it drops below about 15 outside. That's been a pretty good range to bring it in. It's in a container, so don't want it to take too much cold. 15 degrees Fahrenheit. So as far as I'll push it, that'll overwinter those daffodils just fine. Even though I'm not really crazy about these daffodils. They're called Bellebaume. They had an interesting flower on them, but the problem with them is they were very, very late to come up. Like, extremely late. These didn't come up until early May, and then they bloomed very quickly. And that's just not my jam with a daffodil. It may have been late April, but still, potato, potato. I like my daffs that come up nice and early, sometimes before everything else, the very early blooming ones, and ones that'll hold on to their flowers for longer than like 4 or 5 days. They're pathetic. Oh, you know what? Those alocaceas look so messy over there. I don't know how long I have until it's supposed to start raining, but I think I'm going to make that a point today to go ahead and get those planted up. They get planted up on this hill over here. That can looks really trashy up there on each side of the steps, and I don't film it ever because it's not in the neighbor's backyard, but I feel very exposed to the neighbor, so I feel weird walking around with the camera up there. So I won't be filming that, but I gotta do it. They look terrible over there. And sometime this week, those palm trees are supposed to be delivered. Maybe. The weather's been pretty rough. We're not having a ton of really nice sunny days, so they might be behind with getting their stored plants out to everyone. But it would just be good to get some of these bigger things taken care of, which also reminds me I need to move this pond. Turbo's fish pond that's over here, that can't stay right there. I'm going to move that over there. Those are all things I need to do. I need to call the company and see when the heck they're coming. They never call. They always say, oh, we'll call you the week prior. They never have. They've never called. They just show up at the house with a crane. Who does that? Somebody needs some attention. Hi. How you doing? Get your eye boogies. Those bothering you? They're bothering me. Let's get those eye boogies. Yeah, on that note, I went ahead and I just called the palm tree company. There's only one day this week where the delivery does not work, where I have an appointment, an important appointment, and that was the 22nd. And I called them, and guess what day they said they'd be here? The 22nd. You never know when they're coming. At least I know the day. They may not be here that day, but that's the day they said. No idea what time. So I called the other place and rescheduled my other thing, which I don't know if I should have done, is to get a CAC, which is just, it's a CT scan of your chest, of your heart. I've been going to a cardiologist and they say everything's fine. Like, I did stress tests and echoes and everything looks good. And they did like a cardiac IQ blood test. They said all good. And then my primary care just did a wellness. So I've had 3 different cholesterol panels in the last 4 months and everything's good. So I don't think the CAC is an emergency. It's just something he wanted to do. But he didn't say it was urgent. It was more of like, well, is this something you could do? And then after my other stuff, he's like, why don't you go ahead and do that just so like we can clear the tip? I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal because my cardiologist didn't make it seem like it was something they were all that concerned about. This is all preventative measures. Everything's fine. Just putting that out there. Talking medical stuff is just preventative. My dad was only maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 years older than I am when he had his heart attack. It's just bad hearts running in the family. So I was like, let's go ahead and look into these things and make sure everything's okay. All right, so that's good to know. So I have all week to get a bunch of stuff done out here. I could make that this video, but I think that would be silly because it's not going to be out for a week or 2. I don't know how bad moving this is going to be. Just drain it down. It sounds like the water flow is low. It's not. I have to pin a filter pad back there, clamp it on when people are out here talking because it's just the acoustics. If you're sitting right here, you can hear nothing. It's just all you can hear is that fountain. So I clipped that pad on there. I had people out here over the weekend. I couldn't hear anything anybody was saying. Yeah, I just drain it down. I'll put the fish in a bucket. They'll be okay. And then the liner unclips. This should lift out from it. I don't think it'll be that bad. Well, either way, it's going to be done. By the time this video comes out, I will have moved it. I made this for my little sister. She has been here like 6 times, at least, since I made it. Never takes it home. Maybe she's trying to tell me something. I don't know. I don't want it, though. It doesn't fit back here. They're about to go out of town, so I guess it'll stay here for a while. Okay, you. Let's go ahead and pick this up. With plants like this, it really is smart, which would be why I haven't done it, to take them and set them in a heavy container. I'm going to pop this in the ground though. I'm just waiting for the palm trees to get here. I want it to go right over here in this area, like right there. I like to do all those things after the palm's been delivered. Yeah, right around here. That way when you're coming in through this fence that's right behind me, you know, when you're back here, that you walk in, you'll just be greeted by those fun palm fronds. They'll smack you right in the face. Same thing with this guy. Should go into a heavier container. I need to plant it up, but I'm waiting for the palm trees to get here because I like to have that. There's a huge palm tree that grows right here if you don't know. I like to have that in the spot so I can just, it's I don't know, it makes it easier for me to visualize things. I thought by having this big empty pot here it would help me. It doesn't. Oh, didn't realize I was recording. Then I stopped recording, then I turned back on. Yeah, it doesn't help me that much. I could strap this to the fence back there. That seems like a big waste of time. I don't need to do that. Okay, you guys. Weeds always popping up. See, pulling them out of these gravel areas right here, that's not a big deal. I don't spray in these areas, even if it's a safe spray. I don't always use safe sprays. Sometimes I use more hardcore stuff because sometimes the weed brew just will not get certain ones, but that's mostly just these they're Japanese clematis that pop up everywhere out here. That one I need something heavier with. You can't pull it. I mean, you can. I tried that last year. I was like, well, I'll just pull it. And I was pull it and pull it and pull it and pull it. I was probably pulling them once a week, and you'd think eventually that would kill the plant back, but nope, never did. They're still here. I think they came back with a vengeance. They're pretty tenacious and awful. Yeah, this can be so satisfying going through and pulling out all these little guys. Dang, bananas really popped up over the last few days. That's not great. So these are all going to go. I'll leave that guy. He can stay. But all these little guys are going to go because I'm going to put a Bulbosiana right here and a Unionensis. I'm putting them pretty close together because this is an experiment. I just want to see which one's the most hardy. And then next year I will take it from there as to which to keep in this spot. I'm going to be doing a minimal amount of mulching. They're still going to get mulched. This is 6B, 7A. Got to mulch them. The Bajus, you don't need to mulch here. But those, I'll definitely be putting not as much mulch as I do with these when I'm trying to maintain a lot of pseudostem on them. But, you know, maybe I'd say 18 inches. So several bags, but not what I would do for these when I was trying to make a huge mound where it would be like 50 bags. I just don't like dealing with all the mulch in the springtime. I don't mind so much mulching the plants in the fall. It's in the spring when I'm like, now I have all this mulch that I have to do something with. And you have to be really careful how you spread mulch like that that's sat out all winter. And it started to break down in the middle, but not the rest of it. It doesn't look very pretty at that point either. So it's not something I want to go through and top dress everything with, but you got to do something with it. That's why I didn't even bother mulching these last years. Like, they're Bajus, they don't even need it, they're fine. So that's why I'm going to put them in here. And maybe they'll both survive the winter, and then I'll have a very interesting clump of Bulbosiana, Unionensis, Bajus that are just kind of, it's going to be a survival of the fittest thing here. That's something I did years back. There used to be a pond out here. The pond there was no pool, it was just lawn. And right around here, there was a stone pathway with flagstones. The flagstones now are behind that grill and go down to the pool filter. They had a flagstone pathway that went up to a very small, it was probably a 14 by 14 foot agate patio that was right here. And the pond was it's probably right around here. It wasn't huge. It was probably, I don't know, maybe 12 by 8 at the widest spot and about 36 inches deep in the deepest spot. It had started with a frame, a shell. You can still buy them, but it was more common. You could just buy a big plastic shell. So it was the one, it was called Key Largo. It was the biggest one I could find. And that was right here. And then after a couple years, I said, that's not big enough. So I cut one side of it off and I dug a huge hole next to it and then just lined the entire thing. That was fun. Why am I talking about this? Something over here. Oh, back then with the bananas. So around this pond that was right here, because I've always been a diva about privacy, I had a wall of, it wasn't reed grass, but it was very similar to the Arundo reed grass. I don't remember what it was called. I never see it for sale anymore. It's one of the older varieties of grass, but it got huge, 10, 12 feet tall. It was a beautiful wall of grass. And that was fairly far back, like probably right around here. Would have cut through about midway through the pool and come up like this into an archway. And in front of that, there was a waterfall. It was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 feet tall. It was just a random mound of dirt, you know, because I was DIYing everything. And it had something to do with all the dirt that I dug out of the pond. So I said, hey, let's make a waterfall. It was beautiful. Even though it was random, it was beautiful. Then I had a wisteria tree next to that. That was a big mistake. And next to that, right around here, is where I did my bananas. I had bananas down there. Those bananas are there. Those have been there. But I also had bananas right here, and they were the Sabas and the Bajus. I put them both in the same spot because I was like, we'll just see what happens. And they both did really well together, shockingly. I gave them both the same amount of mulch and everything, and eventually I don't think they morphed into one, but what I ended up having was a clump of bananas that didn't really look like Bajus and didn't really look like Sabas. So it is possible that down below at the root, at their rhizome, it's not really a rhizome with the bananas though, is it? Because a rhizome is technically like a piece of underground stem. And that's not really what it is, but whatever. I don't know what happened, but they ended up being just the most big, glorious bananas, and I loved them. Then the pool went in, dug them up with a big scoop, and they sat over there on the lawn for several months, and they just didn't transplant well. But what did end up coming back from that clump were these Bajus that were over here. There's still a little bit of root left from those. So this is where some Unionensis or Bulbaceae, I'm not going to put them both right here, that's too much. But there's the background nobody asked for on the banana trees. Again, sorry about the banana talk. It can just be fun sometimes to go through and reminisce and think out loud. Helps me process things, and there was no point to this video. I was just walking around, talking, waking up, seeing I still have some stuff I need to do over here, so that's good. I'm so nervous to put this palm tree back in that container because these two square blue pots right here, they are my favorite containers out here, and they don't make them anymore. If those broke, I'd be devastated. I think what I'll do with this one is it has some filler in the bottom, which is fine because a whole pot goes in there, so it's not like the soil's in contact with the filler. I think maybe I'll pull the filler out and replace it with sandbags, help add some weight to it. That's about all I can do. I wouldn't think that this palm tree would blow over because it's so scrawny, and then it has the maple tree right behind its canopy to shelter it from some of that wind, or to break up some of that wind. Apparently not enough. It's that time of year where I can only tolerate being outside for so long because I'm getting eaten alive. The spray helps. I can't soak myself in hypochlorous acid at all times. That would be too much. You can have too much of a good thing. So I guess I'm not going to wrap it up. I'm going to do some work, and we'll come back at the end of this and see what I've gotten done. It may not be much because it's supposed to start raining at any minute. I got stuff I need to do in the house, but it was nice. It's nice walking around and talking. I'm going to, I don't know, get something done. Okay. Many, many, many hours, and I got a lot done. Not stuff that's in this video. The thing is, we're going to be uploading more often. There's going to be occasional videos. We're just walking around and talking. Can't be doing projects in every single one of them, or else we'll run out of stuff to do. But I can walk through some of what I got done. Oh, you opened up. And, okay, all right, there's a hint of pink. This is acceptable. That's totally acceptable. I'm good with that. Thought it was yellow. Don't know if this was the video where I was talking about that or not. I'm sure I've talked about it in several videos. So, those Borneo Giant elephant ears, got those potted up. That was quite the project. But there's one right here looking good, and got the other one over here on the other side looking nice too. Had to prune them back, right? It was just the smart thing to do because those big long leaves, they were just going to tip over. They were going to wilt down, I should say, when these got planted up. So may as well cut those off. Leave some foliage on there, but the stuff that you know is going to flop, might as well get rid of it. That was one of those things where it's a project in the back of my mind I just want to get done because I need to get this whole area cleared up and cleaned up. Those palm trees are going to be here in a few days. They will be here by the time this video comes out. And I've got my tarps and my bags and all these things over, and I want it to start looking nicer. So getting these things out of the way was a big part of that, and then getting through some of my soils and whatnot. I just have things flung around on top of my plants over here because I was up on top of the hill doing some planting. Ooh, I almost asked you if you could smell that. I know you couldn't, but it smelled very nice. It was the climbing petunia. Smelled good. You see it? Isn't it beautiful? Got the Japanese maple planted. that was a major project. One that I haven't really been looking forward to. I've been looking forward to the end result, but the actual process, not so much. Because I had to dig this giant apple tree up. Not giant, but I mean, hefty size apple out, which wasn't that difficult because is it weird to say because over because? Is that a Midwest thing? Sorry. Obsessive over pronunciation sometimes. What's that called? There's a word for that. ADD. It's happening. It's only been in the ground. This is its 3rd year. So it wasn't that hard to get it out of the ground. But I noticed when I was digging it up that the soil over here was going to need some work. And it's in good shape for the first like 12, maybe 15 inches down. But there's a ton of gravel down there. You'll see this all in the video from when I planted this up. And I wanted to get some more of the native soil mixed in there. So I had to go to start digging up a spot over there where I figured I'd plant something later. Amended that with some compost and things. Got that down into the bottom of the hole. Just that things are more rich. Gravel doesn't retain moisture very well. And dug that hole nice and wide and making it work. Made it work. Making it, made it, you know what I mean. That new auger really made it so much easier to dig that hole out extra deep. So I wanted to take it down. Way down from where it was. That root ball was probably 12, 15 inches, something like that. And I went down a good 2 feet. And having that new auger, I was able to get way down there and bring up some of that gravel and start mixing some things together so that there's some better moisture control. I did a good amount of talking when I did this. I filmed it. I filmed this and I filmed planting up those elephant ears back there. So there'll be videos about that. But I talked a lot about amending the soil and trying to stay outside the drip line. That's where it's most important. And yeah, I don't know. I think I went beyond just how beautiful the Japanese maple is, but I don't know. I find that stuff interesting. Mostly. Have my moments. Something I don't talk about a ton. I think I kind of do, actually. It just has been a while because I've been doing stuff in the house. I haven't done a ton of well, no, I've done a lot of planting. So I guess this year I've backed off talking about amending as much because I've done it so much, but you get the point. Seemed worthy of discussing. Is it thundering yet? That's why I wanted to get a lot of this done. We're supposed to have storms. So wanted to get these things planted up. It's supposed to be cool for the next few days. Just seems smart. Go ahead and get it in the ground where we might still have a few weeks of not, just insanely hot weather. Ideally a few months would be better, but hey, do what you can. It's Japanese maple, blood good, sturdy Japanese maple. It should be fine. I also brought some sandbags over here because I am so paranoid about this thing blowing over and breaking now. So I figured that's the best thing I can do for right now, temporarily. And I filled that container up with water. I ran the hose in there until the water came all the way up to the top. And it's drained out, but wet soil is going to help weigh it down. I've been thinking, rambling. That's okay. That's the whole point of this video. It's just rambling. I've been thinking about putting some bolts in the ground around this container and just putting some thin wire across the pot that would run right down to those bolts, and then it wouldn't be able to blow over. I feel like it's also dangerous, but it would keep the plant from blowing over. That's really, I think, more important, right? Hey, Turbs. You done? I'm done. I'm done. That was a good 12-hour day of digging and filming and all kinds of fun stuff, and now I'm prepared to sit inside for a few days because it's supposed to rain. Help get these plants established, and I can edit videos and relax. Well, won't relax. That's never a thing. Got to get work done. But feel better about sitting inside when I know that the plants that are newly in the ground and all these new things, they have a chance to really soak in that rain. They love it so much. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Having a great day, great life. Everything's going absolutely beautiful for you. Didn't even finish that sentence because I'm tired. Hey, that was a good catch. And now I keep dropping it. Comment down below. Say hi. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I need to get these planted up too. That's what we should do in this video, is get these planted. It'll be done. I'm going to get that done sometime, probably prior to this video. Got a new leaf. New leaf coming out of our baby Washingtonia over here. That's exciting. Once the heat gets here, that seems to be spitting out leaves so quickly. Won't be able to keep track of when it's putting out new leaves. As always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye.